Hello everyone, hello, welcome to the first ever episode of the Rustage Anime Podcast, the Rustage Anime Cast. I'm here with my editor and co-host, and the man I pay to be my friend, Evan.
He doesn't pay me enough to be his friend, but yes, he does pay me.
This is just a disclaimer. Firstly, Evan has watched more anime than I have. I'm not like an expert in anime in general. This is more for people who are already fans of me and want to listen to my opinions on anime and listen to me talk about shit and stuff like that. So there'll be a lot of stuff where I'll be like, oh, I don't know. I haven't seen that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a disgrace. But hopefully you guys will still be able to enjoy it. And I'll be able to defer over to Evan, who is the resident anime expert.
Yes, but I'm more impressed that we're talking about shit in this podcast. I thought we were talking about anime.
Oh, fuck you, Evan. Also, we're going to swear. I can't help it. I just swear when I speak anyway. I'm sorry, kids. It's just how it be. Fuck you, kids.
What? No!
No, No. Well, generally, like the second channel was a bit more laid back, and I generally think a lot of people who will be listening to this won't be exactly the same demographic as the people who listen to my music. I try and keep my music clean, but I can't really help myself from using certain language on this. So
he has a naughty mouth.
We won't say anything like overly explicit, but I will occasionally swear. And if that's a problem, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, parents. Please don't send me angry emails. Just.
I can guarantee you that I won't swear.
Yeah, Evan doesn't swear because he's a good little boy. But yeah, don't send me angry emails. Just don't let your kids listen to this. But to be fair, if your kid can use the internet, he probably already knows what swear words are. So I don't know if it's gonna like hearing me swear is gonna be that much of a revelation. I don't think any kid's gonna hear me say shit and then go, oh, what does that word mean? And then like like Matrix up, like shit. Oh my god. And they go like, daddy, shit. And the dad's like, where did you learn that? My second child, you've been corrupted. He's like,
Rustage taught me.
Rustage, I will hunt him down. And he'd fly over. And I get like police officer at my door saying, you've broken the shit kiddie law. The law we invented specifically to arrest people who say shit in front of children who've never heard the word before. And then they shoot me on sight.
Oh no, this is worse than copper.
This is why copper was invented, to be fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the first episode. How are you doing today, Evan? I've already talked to you today, Evan, but
you have. I'm doing fantastic. A lot of good things in the works thanks to you. So yeah, I'm
you're
ready
welcome.
to talk about anime.
I did a Make-A-Wish Foundation with Evan and bought him flights to Japan so he could film a music video.
Exactly. Yeah, he did.
All right, Evan, if you're not going to ask, I will just tell you. I ate some pizza today, and that's all I did.
I wasn't going to ask what you did today, but I thought that you just woke up or something. Then I realized, wow, different time zones.
Yeah, it's like 7 p.m. for me. Yeah, I woke up, yeah. I ate pizza. I ate a lot of pizza, actually. A Hawaiian pizza with no ham and extra pineapple. So
is that all you did today? You just ate pizza the entire day?
I watched JoJo. I'm on part 3 now. Too. Yeah. I'm on part 3. You need to watch part 2 because I'm going to be doing that JoJo rap.
Oh, okay, cool. I can definitely do that.
Yeah. Part 2 gets better towards the end a little bit. It's still not completely to my tastes, but I'll save that topic for another podcast where we talk about JoJo. This one is about shonen protagonists.
Yes, the best and worst shonen protagonist.
People who are familiar with my music know that I rap a lot about shonen anime and such, so I felt like it was appropriate for me to talk about all the different shonen animes that I've seen and which one has the best and worst protagonists. Because there are some shows I really like, but I really hate the protagonists, and sometimes vice versa as well, but I think a lot of people think I might like different characters than I do. They don't actually know what my opinions are on these characters. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to put my fucking brain into my mouth and out there into the world.
We're going to start a swear counter. Count how many times Daniel swears throughout this entire podcast.
I can't help it. Listen, if I had to do this podcast without swearing, I just wouldn't be able to fucking do it.
I think he swears again. But yeah, no, I'm curious about what your best and worst list is like, because I feel like in a lot of ways they're going to be similar, but like the worst list, I don't know.
I think we should do best first. I think we should go
best first. Okay.
Okay, best first. So
all right.
My favorite protagonist, or one of my favorite protagonists, just in my best, is obviously Luffy from One Piece.
Ooh, okay, that's good.
Because he's good, right? So
no, he's it.
A lot of people
can't
have
find a flaw with him.
I remember having a conversation with someone in Korea, where they were criticizing One Piece because none of the main characters had that much character development. But I don't feel like they need to, because I feel like the Straw Hat crew are like catalysts for other characters' character development. And Luffy especially. Like, over the course of the entire One Piece arc, he does have development, especially after what happens to his brother and such. He does learn a lot of stuff. But his morals that he had at the very beginning of the show, he still keeps to the very end of the show, and those morals shape the ideas of the people around him, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, no, that does make sense. Luffy's not on my list.
Is he not?
he's not. He's definitely not on my list. Because I feel like it would be unfair to add Luffy, right? Because I love One Piece. It's my favorite anime
I
of all
like
time.
One Piece, but I also love Luffy, and I think and I know a lot of people who will read One Piece and then they'll be like, "Oh man, I love Luffy," because he's just such a likable character, and he has such a drive that really helps the show, and I like that he has these sort of codes that he sticks by. And like when the Grand Fleet were trying to join in, he was all like, "No, I'm a pirate. I don't need a Grand Fleet." And he just has these like skewed thoughts about the world and such, and he's kind of childlike, but not in an annoying way. Yeah. In a similar way to Gon, but a bit more mature than Gon is, in a sort of like childlike wonder. And he's like the perfect protagonist for like an adventure anime.
No, for sure. And I mean, like, I feel like I didn't really add Luffy too, because like when I thought about it last night when I was writing all this stuff up, it's because like I think of the entire like Straw Hat crew as the protagonist of the show.
Yeah, maybe.
And like there's definitely at least one character that I enjoy a lot more than Luffy, and that's Sanji.
Okay. Yeah, but he's not a protagonist, so we're not going to talk about.
What
Sanji.
do you mean? Well, what do you mean he's not a protagonist? It's the show is about the Straw Hat crew,
okay.
right? It's not just about Luffy.
Okay. He is a protagonist, I guess.
Look, okay, all right. When we get through my list, you're gonna find out that
these aren't the main characters. You didn't pick. So in my head, I was picking main characters.
I did pick main characters.
Okay. I would have hated it if you had written down like just good guys, and you had like the bicycle guy from One Punch Man.
Oh no! I mean,
Moomin
while
Rider.
we're on the topic, I guess my first one of my best protagonists is actually Ichigo.
Oh,
which
okay.
I know a lot of people would.
So he's not on my good list. He's on my. So I have good, decent, and bad, right? So I put Ichigo on decent because I really loved Ichigo because he was so different to Naruto, Luffy, Goku, like all of the other shonen protagonists were really they were kind of like immature and loudmouthed.
Yeah, they're all like immature,
and boisterous, and energetic. But Ichigo was just kind of a cool dude, and I really liked that about him.
He's like one of your typical high school kids, dude's just trying to get through life. And the interesting and unique part about Ichigo is that like while everyone else is like, you know, having to save the world and stuff like that, that's just all they have to do. They just have to save the world. Or I guess also they have their ambition of like becoming Hokage, finding One Piece, or Goku just wants to fight the strongest person in the universe or something, right? Whereas like Ichigo has to balance school and saving the world.
There's other characters that have to do that kind of balance as well, but like Deku, kinda. But it's less. But
his goal is to save the world.
Oh, yeah,
that's not Ichigo's goal. Ichigo just wants to fucking get through. I cursed. Ichigo just wants to get through school.
Ichigo just wants. Yeah. I liked Ichigo, but I guess what stopped him from being like an amazing protagonist is just his devolution. I kind of didn't like how the fact he was just everything in the end.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that was pretty annoying.
And I think that just ruins him as a character, because I think one thing that I like about main protagonists is that I kind of hate it when they're like it's destiny that they're the protagonist. I like when they're the protagonist because there's something special about them that makes them cool, and they have the determination to do whatever they want to do. And I'll move on to a character that encapsulates that perfectly. The problem was Ichigo, I thought, was encapsulating that, like, up until the point where he was just everything. And it feels like whenever a character is revealed to have, like, in blood inheritance and powers from relatives or whatever, it just kind of lessens and cheapens everything they had done up to that point and all the hard work they put in.
It was definitely like a cop-out in terms of writing, for sure.
Because I think another example of that is with Naruto. He's not on my good list. He's also on my kind of decent list because I think he's a good character and I like him. But his whole, being an underdog and an unexpected character sort of gets lessened by the fact that he's genetically related to the fourth Hokage. He's the reincarnation of whatever his name is. He's like the chosen one in the destiny, it's all stuff that got shown later, which I think completely cheapens his character and his efforts. And the first half of the show up until Pain is really good because you don't know any of that stuff. And it makes Naruto a really compelling protagonist, and then he just kind of becomes like everything else, and that's why he's not bad. He's just not great.
It's funny you mentioned that up until the Pain arc, like Naruto's an interesting character and stuff like that, because I stopped watching the anime at the Pain arc. Because after that, I was like, "Yep, this isn't worth watching anymore." So I just read the manga.
I still liked the show, but not for Naruto. Like, I liked Sasuke's development because Sasuke didn't end up getting. I mean, besides the whole reincarnation thing, yada yada, we already knew that Sasuke was like a prodigy because of him related to the Uchiha and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I liked Sasuke's whole fact that he was complicated and he changed motives. A lot of people don't like Sasuke because he's inconsistent, but I think he's good because he's inconsistent. Makes him more realistic. And I found like I didn't like Sasuke for like the first half, and then for the second half I liked Sasuke. Like there was a switch. I liked Sasuke more than Naruto near the end.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Huh. I mean, I don't know. Like after Sasuke left the Leaf Village, I could not like him at all.
Well, no, I didn't like him at that point. But I also think you're not supposed to like him at that point.
Yeah.
But I liked him in the fourth war arc and all like post Pain and all that sort of like near the end of the manga. I read the manga. For most of these I read the manga and didn't watch the anime. I liked him. And I liked, especially with him with Danzo, the whole Danzo thing, I really liked. And like I really like Danzo as a character. This is another thing this is not relevant to this episode, but people hate Danzo, because he's an asshole, but I think that's why he's good.
No, Danzo was a pretty chill character. Actually, the anime didn't do it justice, but like the whole like fight or whatever that was like on the bridge or whatever was such a cool moment
that's such a good fight. But it's nothing to do with Naruto, so let's steer this back on. I need to still get through my good protagonists because we jumped down to the decent ones for me. I was talking about characters that had something special about them, but they weren't like.
Yes.
So, Shoyo Hinata from Haikyuu, I think, is really good protagonist because he's really good at like certain things, but he has flaws, and they're not just stupid flaws like Asta, like he can't use magic, or you know, like a sort of very hard flaw. It's like realistic flaws. There's lots of things about his character that he's only good at certain aspects of volleyball, and his whole journey throughout the series is essentially like mending all the holes, without spoilers, obviously, because you've only watched the first season.
Yeah. But
part of his journey through the entire show, and I presume throughout the manga, is improving in all the areas where he struggled with, where firstly he was only focusing on the one thing he was good at. And he's really compelling character, and he takes that kind of like energetic, boisterous, and doesn't make it annoying. And I think one of the key aspects of a main character and a protagonist is rootability. And I think I want to see him do well, you know? He has really good rootability.
He's definitely one of those characters where, he doesn't come off as annoying or over the top or anything. He's just a regular dude who has an ambition and he actually works really hard. He doesn't have any special innate skills.
Yeah, exactly.
He just works for it. And you see him fail, which is good.
Oh, yeah, you see him fail so much. You see him fail more than he succeeds.
Exactly. Which is actually, again, off topic, like one of the best things I feel about IQ.
Oh yeah, you see them fail so much because it's just realistic for them to. Everything's explained in such a way where I'm like, so many layers to that to one move or one game, and it's done in a way that it just becomes really impactful whenever anything happens, and I really, really like it. I mean, it's like my second favorite show now. Like,
yeah.
Do you have any more on your good list? I have a few more.
Oh, I mean, I didn't break mine down into good, decent, and best like you did. I just have a list.
Oh,
but next on my list, I have Gintoki.
Okay, I've not seen Gintama, so you can
okay,
explain
so
why he's a good character without giving like spoilers to the story.
There's no story. I mean, there is, but like it's spread across like all the episodes. So it would be impossible for me to spoil Gintama, is what I'm saying. like for one, I could tell you this. There's an episode where there's no animation.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like
I want to watch it. Like it's on my list. It's like JoJo, and is what I'm on right now. But I will be watching Gintama eventually.
Yeah, so Gintoki is great because he exists in this world where I guess he's like a samurai where they don't exist anymore. Like, it's a new era of technology and stuff like that. And like, he's just trying to like get by. He's just trying to adapt. And unfortunately, a lot of like unfortunate events happen. Like he can't afford to pay rent, which is one of the main like antithesis of his life.
That's good.
Yeah, but like you see him try, man. Like he's out here just doing odd jobs, like walking people's dogs, simple stuff like that. Like the man literally just wants to be able to afford to pay rent.
I understand why you like this character because I feel like you relate to him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And next up, you'll be like, this anime character I really love because he's homeless. And
no.
And I just feel a bit of myself in this guy. He eats literal garbage, and I'm like, that's so realistic.
There is a character in Gintama that does eat garbage and is homeless. And he's actually one of my favorite characters.
Oh, Evan.
No, it's not because I relate, though. He's just a good character. You'll see when you watch the show.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't want to spoil too much about that, but Gintoki's
what I've heard is he's a really good character, and I played him a lot in Smash, not Smash. Imagine Jump Ultimate Stars. Jump Ultimate Stars, which is like one of the best anime games of all time, and we'll talk about when we get to the best anime games episode. But Jump Ultimate Stars is a fighting game where you played a bunch of Jump characters. And I used to just play Gintama all the time, not knowing who he was, just because I really liked his moves and stuff.
Yeah.
And
when he like ran you over with the moped or whatever.
He did. Yeah. That is a move. I used to spam that move on people all the time. He also had a move where his like side special or whatever was he would pretend he was a construction worker and accidentally hit someone with a big plank of wood. Is that a reference?
I think it was one of his taunts or something, but he also like does the Kamehameha.
Oh yeah. I mean that game's crazy because you have if you're playing Bobobo, one of his special moves is to summon Yugi out of his afro and then have Cypher the Sky Dragon do a beam attack. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's a protagonist which is kind of quite a recent one, and people have been arguing about this show for a lot, but I think I really like the protagonist is Tanjiro from Demon Slayer.
Ooh.
What I like about Tanjiro is he's fucking chill as fuck, right? I'm so kind of for similar reasons to why I liked Ichigo, but Tanjiro is not only is he chill as fuck, he's a nice dude, but he has sturdy morals. Hello?
Oh, you just cut out for a second.
Okay. No, my monitors went off and I thought my computer crashed. I'll cut this.
Oh.
I was like, oh no, my computer crashed? It's because I just didn't touch my mouse for 20 minutes and my fucking screen's turned off.
Oh.
Okay, Tanjiro is a cool dude. He's chill as fuck, and he's just really empathetic in a really nice way that you don't see with a lot of... You see with some protagonists, but I feel like in a lot of battle shonen, characters will just kill irrelevant characters and show no empathy whatsoever or no remorse for just blindly... Like, even in stuff like Star Wars, they'll just kill stormtroopers.
That's true.
And it's like, they even have an arc where, like, Finn is like, oh no, it's bad to kill... I don't want to be a stormtrooper anymore because war is bad. And then he just joins the other side and kills stormtroopers.
Yep.
What made him have that choice was because he saw a stormtrooper die, and then he just goes and kills more.
And he just goes and just kills more with no remorse.
But like, Tanjiro is not like that. Like, Tanjiro always gives them all the demons swift deaths because he realizes that they are regular people in real life, and he has a set goal, and he's just really caring. But he shows emotion as well, and he complements really well with Zenitsu and Inosuke, and I like him. You know what? I like that guy. Did you have him on your list at all?
No, not at all. I didn't even consider him.
I just think he's cool.
And it's not that I just don't like him. I just don't think he's one of the best. I mean, like, especially when there's people harboring back to my list, like Edward Elric.
Yeah, he was next on my list. Edward Elric is so good. I mean,
he's so amazing.
Fullmetal Alchemist is so good anyway, but Edward Elric is so good because, again, he has that passion and drive. He has realistic flaws, and like, he just has a really nice ideology about him, and I just love him.
I just think, like, one of the reasons I like Edward Elric is because you're introduced to him through his failure.
Yeah.
With his, like, mom. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. Like, starting off the whole thing with just... and also the fact that he's, like, a disabled character. And there's not that many disabled characters in anime that are well-written. That he's so well-written as a disabled characters that sometimes you'll say, oh, he's really good disabled representation. And people will be like, oh, yeah, he is. Like, like, he just... He does it really well, and it's not like he has the augmentations and stuff, and it's not like, oh, it's a cool thing. Like, there's quite a few panels where it shows how much in pain and how not cool it is that his leg isn't there. And
the anime represents that as well. Like, he's constantly talking about the pain and how much it hurts and stuff like that.
Yeah, and obviously his dynamic with all the characters are really good because he's so young but so talented. You have that contrast with characters that are older than him but not as talented as him, which is definitely something I relate to. Yeah. I'm kidding, of course. But it's that feeling of knowing that people are going to look down on you anyway. I think that's a common trait with a lot of shonen protagonists, because a lot of shonen protagonists are so young, and they're kind of an escapist fantasy for teenage boys anyway, who are like 14-year-old boys who relate to a character that's also around their age, who is just way stronger than all these adults are. I get that, but
I think, and this is gonna sound weird, but like one of my favorite parts about Edward Elric and why I like him so much is because, like, he's not racist.
Oh yes, 100%. Like, there's so many good I meant there's so many good racial themes, but I almost said there's so much good racism in that show. No,
because like obviously in this world, like racism exists, and he's just a character like, nah, man, everyone's cool. Like, what? We can't treat them this way.
Yeah, he's and I think that the fact that he's so open to that, especially because there's so much about him. That I had like three thoughts at once. The other thing is, not only does he represent good, like, physical disabilities, but he's also, like, he traumatized as a kid and had to deal with that and the guilt of that and all that sort of stuff. And
not only that, still as a kid, like, he's still only a little bit old. He still is a kid, and like he still sees some really traumatic stuff, like Nina.
Oh yeah,
like,
oh yeah. He's fucked up, but like in a good way, like it just builds his character more. He's kind of forced to grow up, but you can still see those childlike tendencies. And I mean, don't even get me started on like Ao as well, because Ao was almost Ao's character is so
a lot
deep
worse.
and complex in that show that I just think it's so powerful. And there's just entire moments where, because obviously some people are like, oh, you're so lucky, or they might be subconsciously thinking, oh, Ao, you're so lucky, you're essentially immortal. But like, he's really not. And he's like starving, but he can't eat.
Yep.
And Ed has to deal with the guilt of that. It's just incredible.
I mean, there's a reason why Full Metal Alchemist is still like #1 on Mal.
Yeah, I mean, one of the great things about Full Metal Alchemist is it was just a complete story from start to finish, and I think almost all of the best animes are.
Yeah.
Because a lot of animes fall into a problem where they just start making it. And it's understandable because with the way that manga is like submitted, it's submitted on a weekly basis, and sometimes you'll submit your first few chapters and you won't be able to finish the story because not enough people are reading it. So a lot of people don't plan that far ahead just in case. They only plan like maybe the first arc, like the setup, and because just to be safe, because it makes sense. Which means it's very rare that you get a thing like Full Metal Alchemist where it was clear that she had planned the ending before she had started writing the manga. And all of the best manga is like that. I mean, Death Note it's a complete story from start to finish. And even though it's kind of got like 2 parts to it, I still feel like it's just as good for the same reasons Full Metal Alchemist is good. And when One Piece is finished, it will be the same.
It'll be the same for sure.
Because Oda has said that he knew how it was going to end when he started it, which I just think it's so key. Like, I don't think he knew it was going to be as long as it is, but he knew what the One Piece was when he
knew what the destination was.
He knew
just
what
didn't know how to get there yet.
And and there's definitely characters in One Piece that he obviously didn't plan from the beginning, like Sabo, and who we'll talk about in my overrated characters episode. And do you have any other good ones?
Oh, I do. And this is going to bring us back to where we started at the beginning. The entire Fairy Tail Guild.
No! No.
Okay, the Fairy Tail Guild is the protagonist of the show.
Okay.
It's not Lucy, it's not Natsu.
Natsu is in my bad list.
He's not necessarily the protagonist.
Okay, but he is, and he's bad, and I don't like him.
It's just the show is told from Lucy's perspective, which people would say, yeah, she's the protagonist. But we follow Natsu the most.
Okay, but hold up. Watson is not the protagonist of Sherlock Holmes just because it's from Watson's perspective.
Wow.
And like, Death Note's from Ryuk's perspective, like.
Okay, all right, this guy trying to pull a fast one on me. My point is, the entire Guild of Fairy Tail is amazing, all right?
Yes, I like the camaraderie of the Fairy Tail Guild, and I think, and I agree with you there, but it's, we'll just talk about Natsu. In terms of,
you just want to talk about Natsu?
Because he's the protagonist, and he sucks.
No, he does not suck. What do you mean? First of all, my boy, no one ever dies. So, can you name another show where no one ever dies? Yeah, you can't. Exactly.
Why is that a positive?
Maybe Haikyuu. It is a positive because, like, when you're up against all these really bad guys and you get to keep your life.
No. If you're up against these really bad guys and nobody dies, then they're not really as bad. Like, it takes away the severity of any situation. There's no stakes anymore if you know that everyone's going to live.
The world's ending.
No, but it's like, oh, the world's ending, but we'll fight them and we'll be fine because there's no way we can lose and die.
Okay, I will just say that Fairy Tail is great because the power of friendship in that show is unmatched. The power of friendship. Yes, the power of friendship.
Evan, did you watch Fairy Tail when you were a kid?
No.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? How do you not like the power of friendship?
The power of friendship has to be done in an effective way. In Haikyuu, I feel like it's done in an effective way.
Wow, so you don't think Fairy Tail is effective because the power of friendship of Fairy Tail is, what do you think? It's
an arse pull. It's a Deus Ex Machina.
No, it is not a Deus. Okay, maybe it is, but still.
It's so bad. Like, and it's not on the nose either. It's not like Promare.
Bad.
It's not like Promare where it's super on the nose, and so it's like, oh, okay, this is cool. It's like they try and make it serious.
Okay, all right. But when you first get into Fairy Tail, you know, it's about Lucy's journey on finding friends, right? So she finds those friends. At that moment, you should realize this is what I'm getting into.
Listen, I read Fairy Tail, and I didn't read all of it. But I read a chunk of it, and I didn't enjoy any of it.
Wow.
The whole time I was reading this, I was just thinking, I don't like this guy. This is not good. People are going to get mad at me. And I realized with this podcast that I'm going to get a lot of people who are upset with me for my opinions on things. But I just don't like Natsu at all. I know you like Natsu.
Okay, here's my question. Do you think that Naruto is better than Natsu for, like, defeating... Like, I don't know. I don't remember the exact specifics, but while he is fighting Kaguya, he uses the sexy no jutsu as one of the ways to, like, defeat her, right? And it works, which is ridiculous.
That's kind of... You know what? When that happened in the manga for Naruto, I was a bit upset with... I mean, everyone was upset when Kaguya came up, and I was a bit, like, miffed as well. But the whole using sexy no jutsu, I think, was cool in Naruto, because it...
You thought that was cool? Really?
Okay, I liked it for multiple reasons. Firstly, it was because it showed Naruto was like using his head and trying to think of different ways around an object that he didn't think he could beat purely with strength, right? It's like, maybe there's another way I could do this.
Wow, this man
secondly,
is literally... This man is pulling it. Okay.
No, secondly, it's a really good callback to the very start of the show where the only jutsu he, like, knew was the sexy no jutsu and the clone jutsu. It, like, combined the two, right? And I think it's a nice sort of cap. I don't remember... That wasn't actually how he ended up finishing off Kaguya, and I think if it was, it would have been funny, and a lot of people would have been mad, but I would have liked it more if that was, like, how he did it.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is that I don't think that Natsu's friendship punch at the end of Fairy Tail is that bad, because, you know, it just showcases, like, all the friends that he's made, all the friends Lucy's made. You know, they're all working together to defeat the common enemy.
The thing is, like, friendship's not a quantifiable resource. At least with the Naruto thing where he turns into the sexy ladies, it's, like, nonsensical, but you can kind of it makes sense in a way, right? You could be like, oh, you know, Kaguya, it's all these dudes and blah-de-blah, and it's a different approach. But with Natsu, it's like, what is the power of friendship? It's... Because the power of friendship is only something that fuels determination. Like, if you're thinking about what it actually is, it is a source that fuels the desire to achieve an objective. And
this is going to sound corny, but in Fairy Tail, friendship is literally magic.
Well, then, like, I almost feel like if friendship is literally magic in Fairy Tail and they know that, then they'd just be super... Everyone would just be super good friends with each other. And that's... Like, it'd be like, we don't need to train. Let's just have parties. Let's just be friends. Let's just, like, give each other gifts instead.
Well, I feel like, because if you really... I don't want to talk too much about Fairy Tail, but, like, if you think about the ultimate, like, Fairy Tail spell, which is, like, Fairy Law or whatever, and it protects your friends and defeats enemies, like, that's literally friendship is magic.
It's just so silly. And I don't think it makes Natsu a better protagonist at all.
You know what? I still think he is. What's next on your list?
I don't have any more good ones. I have some decent ones. Do you have more goods?
I mean, again, I didn't break mine down, but I do have a few more on my list. I think I have 3 more.
Okay.
Do you want me to mention mine?
Well, if they're protagonists that you think are good, then go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So this next one you're going to definitely like, Kurapika.
Oh, that's not the main character. Fuck you.
What do you mean? There are 4 main characters in that show.
No. Yeah, Kurapika's good.
Wow.
Yes, I agree that Kurapika's good, but
he's also one of the
just reminded me that I forgot to put Gon on my list, but Gon is also very good.
Yeah.
I mean, Killer was, like, amazing. They're all good of them. I like all 4 of them.
No, I like all 4 of them as well, but, like, Kurapika is definitely my favorite one.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, all 4 of them are incredible. I mean, Hunter x Hunter's incredible anyway. And
just incredible in general. And, like, I feel like Kurapika, for instance, like, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but, like, you definitely see him grow a lot as a character. Like he goes from being I'd probably say one of the weaker ones, obviously for sure, because like there's the two strong boys and then the two weak boys, and like he just proves that he's not useless.
Yeah, and well, like I always like that in characters like demi-protagonists, like who are obviously not as strong as the main protagonists at first or whatever, and then prove that they are strong and they have worth and value. I always like that.
No, I would say in at least that arc of the show, he was definitely stronger than Gon.
Yeah. I mean, we know that Gon, and part of the reason why I like Gon is he's just a kid, like literally just a kind of a kid, a bit of a quirky kid at the very beginning. He's not like a, Goku kid who's just really strong and everyone's like, oh, Gon's just kind of a kid. And you see him learn like the basics of fighting as he goes through the entire arc. And he picks it up quickly, but at certain points, other characters that he's with are obviously going to be stronger than him, and then he inevitably gets way stronger nearer the end. And I think that's really effective. I like that, because a lot of the time, you just have characters that are kind of like the strongest in their class at the start anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I also just like Kurapika because, like, everyone else starts off with, like, everyone obviously has their own, like, goals, but, like, Gon is like, oh, I just want to find my dad. Killua is just like, oh, I just want to get away from my weird family. I can't remember Leorio's. I think he just wants to make money.
Yeah, well, his friend died in the, and he couldn't afford the medical bills, and he was like, money makes the world go round. You could do anything with money.
Yeah, and Kurapika is just like, my entire clan was murdered, and I just want to fucking kill everyone that killed them. It's like, damn, dude, okay.
I think it's. I do like Kurapika, and one grievance I have with Kurapika though is, why isn't he a girl? I don't know why. There's 4 of them, and this is such a nothing complaint, and it changes nothing. But I just feel I keep thinking that he's a girl anyway.
Yeah, no, okay.
And
that's my complaint as well, because like when the show started, I was like, okay, so this is a female character, right? That's cool. It's like, 3 dudes and 1 girl. And then it turns out that it was just the dude, and I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah, I just feel like you could change nothing about the show and make Kurapika a girl, and I feel like it would just improve it just a little bit. Just
exactly.
It makes the dynamic balance of the
and even with like the English dub voice actor, there's like ambiguity in like the tone of voice. Like it's like, is it a girl? Is it a guy?
Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of like, it's rocky ground to like step on and talk about, but I just feel like their character could be more effective. Because it would just be another really good, strong female character that animes are lacking.
No, I agree. I feel like it's a missed opportunity for a really strong female protagonist.
Yeah, and where you wouldn't have to change anything.
Exactly.
Okay, you have any more good ones before I move on to my decents?
Yes, I have Mob from Mob Psycho.
Oh, Mob's good. Is Mob a shonen?
Good. Yeah. Google, please help me with this one.
Is Mob a shonen anime? Shonen. Is Mob Psycho a shonen? It's a parody of shonen. It's I don't know.
Well, you know what? It for sake of purpose right now, sure, it's a shonen. Whatever.
Okay.
But Mob's a good boy. Mob's amazing, and like obviously, he like the whole point of Mob Psycho is that dude just wants to learn to. Actually, I guess the point is that he just wants to get with that girl, but like, he also has to learn how to be less socially awkward, right?
Yeah, I've not actually watched Mob, but I've listened to Lex's Mob album, so I feel like I know it. Lex, the lexicon artist, shout out.
She did. Oh my god,
she did.
I feel like
Sorry. She did an entire album just about Mob Psycho, and I've listened to that, and it seems like he's a good character.
He's such a good character, and I feel like when you like finally watch the show, you're gonna be like, oh my god, Mob is like one of my favorite characters of all time.
Mark's watched the first season. He says it's really, really good. So
it is good. And like it's so good that you would think that it can't get better.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then season 2 comes out and you're like, wow, it actually is better.
Well, that's good.
But yeah.
I'll know that. Add that to my list.
And my honorable mention is Yugi.
Oh, I didn't even think of Yugi. He's pretty he's pretty good. I like him.
Yugi's he's the king of games. I mean, like, doesn't lose. I mean, he does lose, obviously, but like, he's good in the sense, and one of my best because it's like the dude literally just mostly never lost, right? It was just like,
no, hold up. Yami never lost. Yugi barely played.
Okay. At the end, yes. Yami's like, oh, Yugi, it was you the whole time. Not me. I was there to give you guidance, which I know is kind of BS, right? But like, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
I still think Yugi was, the one pull in the strings and not Yami. I'm just saying.
I think season 4 kind of messed up his character a little bit, Yami Yugi, with the whole Orichalcos thing.
I think the Orichalcos arc was one of the best arcs.
I don't know. I feel like he did a lot of stuff that is completely out of character for him in that.
Yeah,
and
because it was a filler arc for one, and two, like I thought it was awesome because like you got to see the darkness in his heart.
Yeah, but like
he literally murders Weevil. Which, to be fair, Weevil should have saw coming, and he definitely deserved it.
Oh, I like Weevil, though, just...
Hey, it's me, Weevil. Say goodbye to Exodia.
It's good they got rid of Exodia, like, early on. Man, that would have been stupid if he had that the whole time.
Yeah, and you think the Egyptian gods are any better?
That's fair. I mean, I'm not a big fan of, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! As a show anyway, because I'm just bored watching them play Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? I love the Abridged series. That's really fun.
Yeah. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was my honorable mention, and that's it for my best list.
Well, we're going to go on to my debatable list. This is actually kind of would be in my good, but a lot of people don't like him, and recently especially. But Deku, I think he is great, but everyone seems to hate him. Like almost every anime YouTuber I talk to hates him, and firstly, the one thing that I just want to get out of the way that I'm so annoyed, and I'm ashamed as well because I kind of like perpetuated this a little bit, was people who say like Mirio should have been the main character really annoys me because the point of his character is he's supposed to be like something for Deku to live up to, he's supposed to be what Deku is meant to be as a main character. But he's supposed to exhibit things like, it's annoying because it's like, no, he shouldn't be the main character because it would be boring. It would be boring if Mirio was the main character. There's a reason why Deku is.
He's like flawless. Like I feel like Mirio is written in more of like a flawless sense. Yeah, right? Like, obviously his power sucks.
No,
but then he uses that power and tries to come up with creative ways to make it work, which is cool. But like I feel like if he was the main character and it was just me following Mirio on his quest to be the best guy ever,
there's just nothing there really.
There is nothing there.
Like, I like him. And obviously, I like Mirio. He's like one of my favorites, as he should be. Like, he's a good character, but he should be the main character. Deku's a good one. What my biggest issue with Deku, though, is not an issue with Deku as a character. It's kind of an issue with the show I have. Is they kind of wanted to teach a lesson that it's if you're quirkless, you could still be a hero. But the problem is he then gets a quirk, and so it doesn't really teach that lesson at all. I would have really liked it if Deku became like a kind of Batman sort of character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I get you. Because like he's literally handed a quirk.
Yeah, I mean he works hard for it. Obviously, like he works harder for it than other characters like Naruto, who just kind of gets shit. But if Deku just, he trained really hard. He just became like an expert with he's smart, right? He's already shown that he's a tactical genius. He could not like genius, but he's tactically smart. If he just found a way to put his tactics and ideas and maybe he could be more of an inventory type and showcase that even if you don't have a quirk, you could be the number one hero. I almost feel like that's a more compelling story than this whole getting it
honestly,
from All Might.
That would have definitely been a better story for sure. Because people already like Batman. And seeing another character like that in anime, that would
you can almost
amazing.
keep everything roughly the same, right?
Yeah.
You can still have All Might be
use
dying.
His brain a lot more.
Because you can have All Might be you're my successor without actually having All Might's power be a thing that passes on. And I know there's probably there's so many cool theories about his successors and a bunch of other stuff that I guess would be different. But I just think the show would be so much cooler if we had Batman Deku.
I would have loved it if All Might, if that was the case, right? All Might gives the quirk to actually Mirio, and Deku's still left quirkless and still becomes number one hero, right? That would make it a lot more impactful. Holy crap, he actually really worked hard for this.
But in terms of Deku's character in general, I like him because he's a kid and he's nervous, but he overthinks things because he wants people to think he's There was a really good video I saw, which are the differences between Deku and Bakugo, was that Bakugo got lucky, but then thinks he deserves it, whereas Deku worked hard, but thinks that he's lucky, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Bakugo got lucky because he got a really good quirk, but he's oh, I deserve this, I'm the strongest, yada yada. But Deku worked really hard so that All Might could give him the quirk, but Deku is still oh, I'm so lucky, I'm, ooh. And I think that kind of parallel between the two, I think it's exclamation point who made that point, I can't remember exactly, but that parallel between the two characters is really interesting. And I just like Deku because of that, because he's also not rude and brash and obnoxious like a bunch of other, Naruto and a bunch of other protagonists, which are sometimes can be a little grating to watch, especially early on, where Deku's kind of like a sweet boy, and I like that about him. I like that he's nice, and but still has flaws and such. I hate perfect characters. I don't know. I think he's a really, really good protagonist for a show like My Hero, and I get really upset when people say that they hate him. And you know what? And I think people hate him because he's not badass. He's not that badass, but I think that's why he's good. I see a lot of people who are Deku, he's not cool.
I mean, the thing people have to recognize about Deku as well is the fact that everyone else has 10 years of experience on their quirks, right? Yeah. They obviously grew up with it. He just got it at the age of 14 or 15 or whatever, and has to figure it out. So
I like him. I like Deku.
Yeah, he's not going to be badass yet. Obviously, the story is about him becoming number one hero. So eventually he's going to learn how to utilize it a little bit more, which obviously people have seen if you've watched the anime. So.
Yeah. Okay, quickly before we move on to bad ones, just my last debatable is Asta. I like Asta. He's kind of a bit like if Rock Lee was the main character of Naruto, but he does scream a lot and he's not perfect. I mean, I like him. I don't know. I like him.
I can't scream at you if you're reading the manga.
Exactly, and I read the manga. Yeah, I like him. I don't know. He's a tiny bit like Hinata. He's like a worse Hinata a little bit, I feel. He reminds me of him. But whatever, that was quick. Asta's cool. I like him. It's like Rock Lee. Let's go on to the bad. Meliodas. I hate him.
Yes, he's okay. So my bad list. My bad list actually only has 3 characters on it.
Okay, mine has 4.
Mine has 3. Ours are probably similar, but Meliodas is definitely there.
Yeah, Meliodas number 1. I hate Meliodas. He sexually assaults fucking Elizabeth, and not only does he sexually assault Elizabeth, and it's so fine because Elizabeth's okay with it later. But we find out that he's known Elizabeth since she was like a baby.
Yup, which
whole
just
thing.
makes it even worse.
So
it's like,
fucking
what?
weird. It's just weird to do. And the fact that you can have a show can have a character that does problematic things, and it's not a problem because obviously they're a character that does those things and it's a flaw. As long as the show points out that those things are a bad thing for them to do, right? Like, you have a villain do things evil to someone, like,
Yeah.
like Endeavor abuses his children, but the show makes you know that that's a bad thing. So it's like, Endeavor's not a bad character because of that, right? He's Meliodas sexually assaults Elizabeth, and the show doesn't say, "Oh, this is bad." The show kind of goes like, "Ooh, how silly Meliodas!"
Yeah, exactly.
Meliodas, what a cheeky little guy! Ooh, groping a lady, how embarrassing! It's like, no.
Like, I feel like Meliodas should be punished more for his actions, but everyone else just kind of stands there. It's like, Meliodas is just doing that sexual assault again. That's Meliodas.
So many kids love him, and probably just think that's okay. And then on top of that, he's boring. Until the end of season 2, where it's like revealed that, he keeps coming back to life and shit. And it's all like, oh, he has some complexity to his character. It's just still not enough to make up for his bland nothing. He's nothing. He's a cracker. He's a piece of stale bread that likes to feel up women.
Yeah, no, for me, like, honestly, I would have stopped watching the 7 Deadly Sins if I wasn't introduced to Escanor.
Oh, yeah, no. All of the other characters in the Sins, I think King and Ban and Escanor and Diane, all are really interesting characters.
Yeah, they're all really interesting.
But Meliodas sucks. Elizabeth also sucks. I hate both of them.
Yep.
Whenever they're on the screen, I'm like, please go away. Get out of my sight. I don't want to look at you. And I've rapped as Meliodas 3 times now, so... And people are going to get mad at me for that. This is the thing. Luckily, this is at the end, because the people who would get angry at me won't stick around for this long, I don't feel. But
exactly.
Oh my God. I hate him. And he has the whole trope that I'm not a huge fan of, where a character has like a secret ability, like his whole demon mode and stuff. Like, you have that with a few characters, and it's fine. I just feel like it's a bit overdone now, where it's like, oh, he's in this berserk mode where he doesn't know what he's doing and he's just super strong. Like Ichigo, Naruto, Asta, did Asta? Maybe, but all of these characters had them and did them better, and I don't want to see it anymore. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Meliodas sucks. And Elizabeth also sucks. To
continue with another character that absolutely sucks, Goku.
Yes, he was my next one. I don't like Goku. He's a...
I don't have a problem with the fact that Goku's an idiot. I do. I have a problem with the fact that Goku is never present.
Oh, yeah. Well, Goku just...
It's like whenever anything happens, Goku's dead. And when they need him, he does show up, but instead of defeating the bad guy, Goku's like, hey, can you get a little bit stronger for me? It's like, what are you doing, Goku? The world's in danger.
And he's better in Dragon Ball, but he's just worse in Z and Super. And
oh yeah, absolutely.
and there's like so many good characters, like Tien and Yamcha and Krillin and Vegeta and Trunks and all these characters who just take everything seriously. Gohan and Goku. He's boring as well. There's not really much to him. Yeah,
it's like a One Punch Man style situation where like you can't have Saitama there all the time, but at the same time, like I get why Goku might be present or might be gone for most of the story, right, and not present. But still,
I don't know. I just say make Goku weaker and make it more interesting.
Yeah,
And then obviously, he doesn't look after his kids.
Yeah, oh, he's just a terrible father.
It's not like he's the worst father. There's worse fathers in anime, but and obviously he still cares about his children, kinda. But I just don't. It's just not that great, and he's not like a complex character either. Like the idea of a character that really likes to fight things is interesting, but I feel like they try and play. They don't try. A character like that is rarely ever the hero. A character like that, it tends to be like Kenpachi, sort of anti-hero kind of character.
Yeah.
And the fact that they still try and play him off as like the protector of the earth and the good guy, when all he likes to do is fight and get stronger, I feel is just kind of silly, and just weakens his character and just makes me not like him. I don't like you, Goku. I don't like you, Goku.
Yeah, Goku's just like, I want to fight things.
I want no,
Goku.
I want to have a good challenge. We don't need that right now. The thing is, the line I'll let you get stronger because I want to have a good challenge is something a villain would say. It's something villains do say in other anime.
Exactly.
It's something that all of these. I've been watching the part 2 of JoJo, and it's like they say that all the time. All the villains in JoJo. That's just what villains and anti-heroes say. That Kenpachi says that. Like a hero wouldn't say that.
When we look back at Dragon Ball Z, Goku lets Vegeta live. Only like Krillin's about to stab Vegeta, and Goku's like, "No, don't do it. I want him to get stronger so we can fight again." What?
Like, really,
what are you doing?
Like, as cool as Vegeta is, it's just
like he just murdered several people in a freaking city, and you're letting him go free?
Oh yeah. I mean, Goku has probably accidentally killed tons of innocents as well by just blowing shit up.
Yeah.
Natsu, I already covered. Kirito.
Oh, he's not on my list.
I don't like him.
Damn.
He's an idiot.
I don't like it.
But he's also an arsehole. He's also really smart, but he's also not. And he's kind of good at everything, except for when it's needed that he isn't good at something.
Exactly. Like, it's so stupid. It's like, Kirito, how are you suddenly good at hacking? Like, what?
I'm a gamer. We gamers have special powers. I hate. It's just inconsistent, his entire character. And I haven't watched that much of Sword Art, so I've already seen like clips of like later stuff.
I mean, it's like a lot of people have said Sword Art Online is better when Kirito is not the main character.
Oh yeah. He's kind of just like a Mary Sue. He's almost feel like a self-insert character, and he's just bad. Don't like him. What was your bad one?
My next one was actually Boruto.
Okay. See.
Yeah. It's only because like Boruto's bad because there's nothing interesting about him except the fact that Naruto's his dad.
Okay, I get that. I don't like people who are upset at Boruto for being upset with his dad. I think it's fair, and I think his reactions to it are fair, and I think it makes him interesting. But it is true.
No, I'm not upset of him over that.
Yeah, exactly. It is true that he doesn't seem to have much personality outside of that, and that does make him a bad character.
Yeah.
I think he just needs more identity instead of just being Naruto 2, but that was a problem I had with Naruto in general, is a lot of characters' children, even in Naruto and in Boruto, just felt like their parents again. Kiba is just his mum again. Shino is just his dad again. Shikamaru is just his dad again. You know? And you have that again, like Shikamaru's son is just Shikamaru again. With wind powers. And
yeah.
And you have that with Boruto, and I feel like characters need a bit more individuality in that show. And stupid.
It is. But he was my last one because I couldn't think of any others. Because
yeah, a lot of protagonists are pretty good. I stayed in mine. Well, I'm through my list, and we just hit an hour, so we might as well wrap up. Thank you everyone for listening to it. This is the first episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for the swearing. I swore less. The swearing's all at the beginning, and I feel like that's going to put people off. But thank you very much for listening. Tune in this time next week. We'll be talking about characters that are worse than Sakura.
For you, it'll be next week. For us, it'll be in the next 5 minutes.
And yeah, thank you so much for listening. This one, I don't think will be on Spotify yet. I'll be submitting it to Spotify and iTunes and such like that. You'll be able to listen to this on Spotify in the future. Hopefully, I'll be able to get that done as quick as possible and have everything up and ready to go. But thank you if you listened this far. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed. Evan, do you have anything you want to say?
If you're watching on YouTube, leave a like, leave a comment, and if he remembers, subscribe to my channel as well.
Oh, okay, yeah, do that. And Joshua, if he was here, he wanted to say, anime is shit. Go read a book. And
wait, what?
that's where we're at.